Hi, I'm Sharmen from the Marriage Recovery Center. Many of the couples who come to me with problems in their marriage think they know the needs and expectations of their spouse. But in all my years of working with couples, I have found that what they've decided they know about what their spouse is thinking is often not even really very close to what their spouse is really thinking. So, to help you guys out there, here are some common hopes and expectations that I've found that most women are looking for when they're seeking help for their marriages. These are not in any particular order or emphasis. It's just 10 different things that I've noticed that women really hope that their guys would take a hard look at to enable there to be real hope and change for their marriage. One of those is kindness. This doesn't have to be a war. This isn't about you having to defend who you are and why you think and why you do what you do. It's just an opportunity to look at the issues. And so if you can work on being kind, it would help a lot for her to stay engaged in the conversation. Because as soon as unkindness creeps in, it shuts down a conversation and then we can't go anywhere. Another thing she would love you to work on is doing better perception checking. Most often, and I hear this from both sides, but something she really needs from you is for you not to tell her what she's thinking, but instead to ask, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? What is really going on in there? And how can I help? Another area is paying attention to your narratives. When you've already decided what you know, quote unquote, is happening in her, what the situation really means, what's really happening, and then you take action based on that narrative that you've decided, it precludes any opportunity for growth, and it actually disables you from being able to see if possibly there is another way to look at things. So she wants you to work on that so that, again, you can talk about the differences in a way that you can collaborate. Ownership. This is a huge one. Your wives need to hear you just be able to say, yes, I did that. It's not necessarily a prognosis of where this is going to go. It's not about defining whether or not it was right or wrong, or even describing what level of rightness or wrongness it was. It's just a behavior that if it harmed her enough to bring it up, she needs you to own it and just say, yes, I did that. No qualification, no quantification, no justification or rationalization. Just, I did that. And then hand in hand with that is, and I see that it impacted you in this way. She needs to hear you do more work just to look at what's been done in the relationship that has impacted her negatively. Also, she needs you to work on identifying your feelings. One of the things I see really difficult for most men is being able to say how you really feel, as opposed to what your perception is. So more often than not, it's really easy to say, I feel like, but everything that comes after that is not a feeling, it's a thought. It's how you perceived and judged whatever happened around you. Taking that in now as truth. So in reality, what she needs you to work on is getting underneath that to really talking about how you feel. And most often it's things like frustrated or disconnected or unsettled or unhappy, or something that's more of a feeling that makes it easy to point to things around you and talk about those things. She needs to hear your feelings. Once you identify those feelings, then you can begin to use that to actually inform how you make the ask about what you need to see happen next. Where do you want this to go from here? And it gives you something, both of you, something now to work with, rather than her just being put in the defensive place to say, I see how you judged that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I need to know what you're feeling. The other thing, another really big thing, is working on connection. And connection isn't just about understanding. It's not just about understanding your feelings. It's not just about, it being out there, what you're really thinking, what she's really thinking. It's about taking what you've got to work with and then collaborating, talking about how are we going to weave this into our future? How are we going to work together to make this work for us? It requires mutuality. It requires reciprocity. It requires being able to look at this from, we're working on building something together. How do we do that? So working on connection, making connection be the goal, not simply understanding or getting it or obedience. It's how do we take what we've got to work with and make it work for us. She needs you also to catch your own bad behavior and redirect. She does not want to be put in the place to have to say, hey, can you please stop that? Over and over and over again. She wants you to be more aware of how you're impacting the world around you so that she's not put in that position to have to parent you or police you or police the relationship. Free her up to be herself by you taking charge of your own self, paying attention to when you're really screwing up, and then owning it and redirecting a whole new direction. Another big area that she would like to see you work on is not being offended by everything she says and does. When you take offense to her sharing her perspective or her feelings or how she's viewing things, you make it be about you. And this isn't about you. This is about her sharing of herself, first of all, but also trying to put into context something that she needs to be different so that she can collaborate on connection. So if you find offense in everything she says and does, what you send to her, the message you send to her is that she is offensive. Why would anyone want to stay in a relationship where everything she did felt like it was just an offense to you? There's no joy in that for her. There's no peace in that moment for her. And it squelches love at every turn. So if you can work on being able to hear her without taking offense to it, that would be huge. And also, probably the biggest thing out of all of these things is she needs to see you digging for wisdom, digging for what can we do to do this better. So if you're constantly digging in your heels and saying, what I'm doing is just fine, you need to change, or you're making her do all of the work to find the answers or find the way or make the way or whatever, that's not helping her at all. She desperately needs to see you doing whatever it takes to find a better way and to keep reaching for what is good and right and true. She can fight that battle with you. She cannot fight it alone. And so she needs you to do whatever you can do to constantly be learning new ways, new things, thinking differently about things, so that you begin to walk in wisdom and not just stay stuck in the path you've been walking on. So has your spouse asked you to work on any of these issues? Do you see an opportunity for you to grow and heal yourself so that you can help grow and heal your marriage? Reach out to our client care team and sign up for a marriage eval, and we will help you create a plan to overcome the roadblocks that are keeping you stuck and keeping your relationship from flourishing.